Welcome back to Djji Tutorials. Today we are covering common factors and factoring trinomials. To find the greatest common factor, or GCF, of two or more numbers, you can use several methods: listing factors, prime factorization, or the Euclidean algorithm. 1. Listing factors. Write down all the factors, numbers that divide evenly, of each number. Identify the factors that are common to all the numbers. The largest of the common factors is the GCF. 2. Prime factorization. Find the prime factorization of each number, breaking it down into prime factors. Identify the common prime factors and their lowest powers that appear in all the numbers. Multiply the common prime factors together to find the GCF. The Euclidean algorithm is a method for finding the greatest common factor, or GCF, of two numbers. Here's how it works. Repeatedly divide the larger number by the smaller number and take the remainder. Then replace the larger number with the smaller number and the smaller number with the remainder. Continue this process until the remainder is 0. The last non-zero remainder is the GCF. Let's go through an example to find the GCF of 12 and 18 using the prime factorization method. First, we do the prime factorization of 12, which is 2 times 2 times 3. Next, we find the prime factorization of 18, which is 2 times 3 times 3. Now we look for the common prime factors, which are 2 and 3. Finally, we multiply these common prime factors together. 2 times 3 equals 6. So the GCF of 12 and 18 is 6. Now let's talk about how to factor a trinomial when the coefficient of a is 1. To factor a trinomial when the coefficient of the x squared term is 1, you need to find two numbers that add up to the coefficient of the x term and multiply to the constant term. Then, you can write the factored form of the trinomial using those two numbers. So let's go through the steps to factor a trinomial when a equals 1. First, identify b and c. In a trinomial of the form x squared plus bx plus c, identify the values of b and c. Next, find two numbers that add up to b and multiply to c. Now write the factored form. Use the two numbers found in the previous step to write the factored form of the trinomial as x plus number 1 times x plus number 2. Let's look at an example. Factor the trinomial x squared plus 7x plus 12. First, identify b and c. In this case, b equals 7 and c equals 12. Next, find two numbers that add up to 7 and multiply to 12. These numbers are 3 and 4 because 3 plus 4 equals 7 and 3 times 4 equals 12. Finally, write the factored form. The factored form is x plus 3 times x plus 4. Note, you can always check your work by multiplying the factored form back out to see if it equals the original trinomial. Factoring trinomials where the leading coefficient a is greater than 1 follows a similar process to factoring trinomials where a is 1, but with an extra step to account for the larger coefficient. The main idea is to find two binomials whose product equals the original trinomial. Here's a step-by-step guide. 1. Set up the problem. Consider the trinomial ax2 plus bx plus c, where a is greater than 1. 2. Multiply a and c. Calculate the product of the leading coefficient a and the constant term c, that is, a times c. 3. Find two numbers. Find two numbers that multiply to the product calculated in step 2, a times c, and add up to the coefficient b. 4. Rewrite the middle term bx, using the two numbers found in step 3. For example, if the two numbers are r and s, then bx becomes rx plus sx. 5. Factor by grouping. Group the first two terms and the last two terms of the rewritten trinomial. 6. Find the common factors. Look for the greatest common factor, or GCF, of the first two terms and the GCF of the last two terms. 7. Factor out the common factors. Factor out the GCFs from each group. 8. Identify the common binomial. You should now have two terms with a common binomial factor. Factor out this common binomial. 9. Write the final factored form. The factored form will be in the form of two binomials. Example. Factor the trinomial 3x squared plus 11x plus 6. 1. Set up. 3x squared plus 11x plus 6. 2. Multiply a times c 3 times 6 equals 18. 3. Find two numbers. The two numbers are 2 and 9, as 2 times 9 equals 18 and 2 plus 9 equals 11. 4. Rewrite 3x squared plus 2x plus 9x plus 6. 5. Factor by grouping, 3x squared plus 2x plus 9x plus 6. 6. Find GCFs, x times 3x plus 2 plus 3 times 3x plus 2. 7. Factor out common factor x plus 3 times 3x plus 2. 8. Final factored form x plus 3 times 3x plus 2. Thank you for joining us today. Hope you find this video useful. Please like, share, and subscribe. See you in our next session.